Ladies and gentlemen, you've probably heard of harmless pranks. Well, let me introduce you to prankless harms, right? This is Amni Mojito. He's a French influencer who thought it would be a great idea to go around the streets of France pretending to stab people up with syringes. I'm not joking. Roll the clips.
Mais nous avait menti. Hein. Oh, ça va pas? Qu'est-ce que c'est là?
You see, I wasn't lying, right? The entire prank, or a prank, is just him going around pretending to stab people with a syringe. Right? And obviously, the people that are getting apparently stabbed by the syringe freak out, they run around, whatever, right? And that's meant to be the prank, right? Because unbeknownst to them, they could have just been stabbed up with AIDS juice, steroids. You know what I mean? If someone comes up to you with a syringe, stabs you, fuck knows what could be in that syringe, right? The good thing is, he did it with the cap on the syringe, right? Otherwise, I guess he would be in jail for a very long time, because that's genuinely fucking very illegal, right? But the bottom line is, the prank is, he goes around, haha, you've been stabbed by a needle, haha, funny.
Mais, depuis mois d'octobre, un chien vert. Casse-toi.
Ah! What are you doing?
What the fuck? What the fuck? Who the fuck are you?
And the thing that makes this prank, right, even more fucked up is the fact that this was a big thing going on in France. Like, I knew I wasn't tripping. I had to look this up, right? But I think it was like this year or maybe last year, right? But there were a bunch of people that were genuinely going around in France stabbing people up with syringes, right? Not with a cap on, not for a prank, like actually hold that juice, right? That was actually a big thing that was going on, right? So I found the article because I knew I wasn't tripping. So I'll read it here. Wave of syringe attacks mar France's Music Street Festival. 12 suspects were arrested as 145 people across the country reported they had been pricked with syringes following calls on social media to jab women, right? And they don't really know what was in the syringes. Some people were saying it was like that R-word juice. I'm not going to say it on YouTube, but you know what I mean. Some other people were just saying, again, it could have been a prank. Point is, this was a real thing in France where people were actually getting stabbed up with syringes, right? And then this fucking knucklehead thought it would be a great idea to, I guess, use that as a prank and just scare the fucking daylights out of people, thinking they've just got AIDS or they're going to go home and just turn into some kind of mutant. I don't know, right? But this guy thought that would be a good idea given what had gone on in France that year or the year before, right? Piece of shit. But anyway, right, I haven't just made this video to point out this guy's pranks, right? The good news is this guy has been sentenced to 6 months in prison. French social media influencer Amni Mojito has been sentenced to prison after his controversial syringe prank. Videos triggered outrage across the country. The Paris criminal court handed him a 12-month prison sentence with 6 months to be served in custody and the remainder suspended over charges linked to harassment, threats, and prior offences. So yeah, the guy is now serving a 6-month prison sentence, right? It said 12 months. I'm going to break down the sentence in a minute, right? But yeah, the bottom line is the guy is now sitting in a prison cell for 6 months, which is great, right? A lot of people are like kicking off saying, oh, it should have been longer, Which, look, here's the thing. If he had got like 5 years, I would just, like, I wouldn't really give a fuck, right? But here's the thing. 6 months, well, yeah, okay, he maybe should have got longer. It still sucks. Like, people are acting like this guy got nothing. 6 months in a prison cell fucking sucks. Like it's not like a light sentence. I mean, it is, but it's also not, right? The guy still got sentenced to prison. There are a lot of people, right, in certain countries that do way more fucked up stuff or equally fucked up stuff and don't even go to jail. So, I mean, at least they actually gave him some time, right? And I'll read here. I think the main reason they gave him some time is because he had prior offenses, which I couldn't find what they were, right? But it says here, court heard that the influencer already had a history of legal troubles, including prior accusations of assault and harassment, right? So that's probably why he actually got sentenced time. Because as I said, there are people that would have committed a similar crime or the same crime and they wouldn't have got time, right? So let's just be happy my man is sitting in a fucking cell right now and didn't just get slapped with a fine, right? Because that was a very, very possible outcome, right? So yeah, he's in a cell. During the trial, Maggio defended himself by saying the videos were only meant to entertain and make people laugh, but he admitted in court that he now regrets the content and underestimated the fear it caused. Victims testified to feeling genuine panic at the thought of being attacked with a needle, especially in an era where health concerns remain high. At the bar, he acknowledged that he himself would have feared if someone approached him with a syringe. I mean, this whole thing's dumb because it's like you underestimated the fear it caused, yet the entire point of the prank was to instill as much fear as you could in people. So the whole thing is just fucking dumb. Doesn't even make sense. I mean, to be fair, I'm saying this, I kind of expect him to just talk a lot of bullshit, right? Because like he's obviously trying to get a lighter sentence. But I mean, come on, like, at least fucking try. It doesn't even fucking work. Like, what are we doing? He also swore under oath to never have made a cent from his videos, right? Now, here's the thing. This doesn't really make sense, especially today, right? Because viewers, followers and shit, like it ends up as being money, right? So alright, you didn't make any money from those specific videos, but you did get a bunch of new followers, you did get a bunch of new eyeballs on you, which then eventually you could turn into profit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't really work, right? Oh yeah, I didn't get paid, but I also got a bunch of new followers and a bunch of views, which are going to help me in the future to make money. Just fuck off, shut up. Alright, so when it comes to the actual sentence, right, I'm going to break down the specifics. Because I watched a few videos on this. A bunch of people are saying different stuff. And there's a bunch of articles that are saying different shit as well, right? So I'll break it down and be a bit more specific, right? So, I think even this article is saying contradicting shit, right? But here's the thing. His full sentence is 12 months, right? 6 months, which are instantaneous, meaning he's getting 6 months right now, he's locked, right? The other 6 months, he'll only have to do if he's caught doing anything else at all, no matter how minor, right? So if he, I don't need to explain it, that kind of makes sense. If he gets caught anything else, he's getting the other 6 months, right? But if he doesn't break the law, he'll only do 6 months and not 12. Makes sense. He also got a $1,500 €1,500 fine, and he's forbidden from owning or carrying a weapon for 3 years, which in France, that doesn't even make sense. I think like the only people that are allowed weapons are like hunters, and you have to like apply for a special license and shit. So like that doesn't really mean much anyway, right? But that's what that means. He also has 2 years of probation. On top of his sentence, he had already spent a couple months in prison awaiting trial, and that wasn't deducted from the sentence. So basically, he's doing 8 months. If this article is right, and from what I've read on a bunch of different articles, that kind of makes sense. Usually you get time off, but I guess they were like, yeah, fuck you, so which is good. So instead of 6 months, he's actually doing 8. Okay, so but that's basically the full sentence right there. Also, right, before this whole thing came about, like his actual sentencing, a bunch of people were saying, oh, he's going to get 5 years, he's going to get a bunch of months, he's going to get fined like 50,000 euros or some shit, right? So I'll break down why he got what he got, right? Prosecution originally asked for 15 months in prison. His full charge is violence with a weapon that didn't lead to an inability to work for the victim, which basically means violence with a weapon that didn't cause anybody to take time off work, which I think is a little bit weird anyway. Like, that doesn't really, like, if I can go, so I go smack someone up on the street, and if he goes to work, fine, if he goes to work, fine, the next day, I get a lighter sentence for beating him up. A little bit weird, but I mean, it is what it is. The maximum sentence for this is 3 years and 45,000 euros in fines. However, to reach the maximum sentence, there has to be a minimum of 3 aggravating factors from a detailed list, which can include, but are not limited to, attacking a minor, attacking someone based on an identity that's defined as a target of discrimination, a vulnerable person, a member of your family, etc. So that, basically, you have to have a bunch of extra shit, and you have to have 3 in order to get the full sentence, right? The only fact that he had was premeditation, right? Which again is only 1 of 3, hence why he got a lighter sentence. Some people obviously think he should have got the full time. It is what it is. At least, like I said before, at least this motherfucker is still sitting in a cell right now. Right? As I said before, there's been a bunch of these pranksters doing dumb shit that have never ever seen a cell in their life and actually profited from what they did, right? So let's just celebrate that this guy's in a cell right now, right? So yeah, that's basically it, right? There's a few other things that are just fucking dumb, which I'll just touch on quickly, right? Magito's case has reignited debate in France about where free expression ends and public safety begins. The influencer is expected to serve a 6-month sentence unless he files for appeal. Going around fucking pretending to stab people, that's not free expression. If you think it is, you've got fucking, you're probably slightly learning disabled, you've got issues, right? It's not free expression, it's fucking whoring for attention and ruining people's fucking days. That's all it is. If you disagree, like I said, you're just crazy. And also, if you're a type of person that enjoys these types of pranks, like if you're one of these guys that sees this and sits at home like, it's so funny, you've got mental, you're crazy. You have a screw loose. Normal people don't find this funny. And normal people don't go around ruining people's fucking days and weeks for a little bit of content. Which, by the way, I mean, this guy said it himself, he weren't even directly getting paid for. So, I mean, like, I get it, views and shit, but, you know, serving a prison sentence because you're an attention whore. Yeah, brain dead. Right, anyway, but that's it. I'm not going to touch on this anymore. It is what it is. The guy's in jail. You get what you get, bozo. Anyway, Raxo Turiel,